Giridharadhari Gopichana Vallabha Giridharadhari Gopichana Vallabha Giridharadhari Gopichana Vallabha Giridharadhari Yashodanandana Brachachana Ranjana Shodanandana Brachachana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brachachana Ranjana Shodanandana Brachachana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jayorata Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayorata Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Nityananda Rama Ki Jai. Om Jnanatimirandasya Kiranjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Namo Bistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhyeva Cha Patitanam Papanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So we'll start with some invocation, glorifying Lord Nityananda. Nityananda Vadutentur Vasudha Pranavalapa Janavi Jivatapati Krishna Prema Prada Prabhu Patmavati Sutta Shriman Sachinandana Purvaja Bhavon Mata Jagat Trata Rakta Gaura Kalevaraha. Shri Nityananda Prabhu is the embodiment of eternal bliss. He is the moon of all avadutas, and the beloved of the life breath of Vasudha, his wife. Lord Nityananda is the husband enthusing Jahnavi with life. Nityananda Ram bestows ecstatic love for Krishna, and he is the Lord and Master of the devotee. Krishna Prema Prada Prabhu. Padmavati Sutta Shriman. Sri Nityananda is the dear son of Padmavati, and he is full of splendorous transcendental majesty. Nitai is the older brother of Sachimata's son Nimai. Nityananda Avadut is maddened in overwhelming ecstatic emotions. Sri Nityananda Prabhu is the savior of the universe. His complexion is golden tinged with red. Rakta Gaura Katevaraha. These are prayers by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. 12 names of the moon-like Nityananda Prabhu. One who recites these 12 auspicious holy names between 6 and 8:30. Okay, we're still there. Will become free from all difficulties and attain his most cherished desire. Very soon he will receive the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Dev. Huh? Huh? This is a prayer. It is called Nityananda Chandra. Let me see. Yeah, 12 names of the moon like Nityananda. It's by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Alright, then we have some shlokas from the Chaitanya Charitamrita describing the glories of Lord Nityananda and also the Tattva. Let me offer my obeisances to Lord Sri Nityananda, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose opulence is wonderful and unlimited. By his will, even a fool can understand his identity. By his will. If Nityananda is merciful, then we may be able to understand him. Otherwise, it will be difficult because he's the Supreme Lord. To understand the Supreme Lord is very difficult. But by his mercy, even a fool can understand him. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Sarva Avatari Krishna Svayam Bhagavana Tanara Dvitiya Deha Shri Balarama. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the fountainhead of all incarnations. Lord Balaram is his second body. Ei Svarupadhane Bina Matrakaya Atyakaya Vyahu Vyuha Krishna Lila Rasayahaya. They are both one and the same identity. They differ only in form. He is the first bodily expansion of Krishna, and he assists in Lord Krishna's transcendental pastime. Say Krishna Navadvipa Shri Chaitanya Chandra, say Balarama Sange Shri Nityananda. That original Lord Krishna appeared in Navadvip as Lord Chaitanya, and Balaram appeared with him as Lord Nityananda. May Sri Nityananda Ram be the object of my constant remembrance, Shankarshan, Shesha, Naga, and the Vishnus who lie on the Karana ocean, Garbha ocean, and ocean of milk are his plenary portions, and the portions of his plenary portions. So these are some shlokas describing the glories of Lord Nityananda. And if you think about, we know Gaur Nitai, the two merciful lords who appeared 500 years ago in Ekachakra, Navadvip, they have been spreading the holy name. But that same Nityananda actually is the origin of Mahavishnu. And if you meditate about who Mahavishnu is, how gigantic the form of Mahavishnu must be, that from his pores, just by breathing out, from his pores, unlimited universe come out. How big he is, And that Nityananda is the origin of that Mahavishnu. That Mahavishnu comes from Nityananda, from Balaram. So, and of course he is, as is described here, the first expansion of the Lord, the second body of the Lord, and then non-different from Sri Krishna. So Lord Nityananda, who is Balaram himself, the first direct manifestation or expansion of Krishna, is the original spiritual master. He helps Lord Krishna in his pastimes, and he is servant of the Lord. So, and we know basically there is no difference between Krishna and Balaram. Balaram is the first expansion, and the scripture reveals that there is no difference. So their complexion, okay, Krishna is color newly formed rain cloud, like Shyam, we know, blackish. Actually, it's described when there is a rain cloud, and then there is a thunder, blitz in the back. Then that dark bluish cloud is kind of shining. That is the color of Shyam, which is the color of Krishna. And Balaram's color is like a spring cloud, like a white cloud. But actually their mood, Krishna and Balaram, is non-different. I mean, there's no difference in their potencies. There is no difference in the power they possess. There is no difference in the beauty they possess. I mean, Balaram is equally beautiful than Krishna. There is no difference in the knowledge they possess. It's not that Balaram knows less. Maybe even the opposite. When we look at the Ram Lila, like Sita Devi is saying, please get me that deer. And Ram is ready, okay, let's get the deer. Because he's the dutiful husband, he has to fulfill the desire of his wife. That's the lesson we can learn. The husband should always, yes, the wife accepts the husband as the Swami, as the Guru. That's one side of the story. But the other side of the story is that the husband should always please his wife, always fulfill all the desires of the wife, otherwise you get troubles. Right? I mean, I don't know, but I guess you can confirm. So Lord Ram, he is ready to run for the deer, the golden deer, but then Balaram says, wait a minute. The Lord has created, or Lord Brahma, I mean, depending on how you see it, there is 8,400,000 species, different forms of life in this material creation, and that golden deer is not part of that 8,400,000, okay? That's not an ordinary deer. No. That actually is Marichi. It's actually a demon who manifested as a form of a deer. So Balaram, he's Adiguru. He's very sharp. He immediately could understand Lakshman. He pointed it out. But of course, that was just disturbing the lila. So nobody really took notice of it because the lila had to go on. And Lord Ram told Lakshman to stay back, and he went after the deer. So there is no difference in knowledge. Balaram has the same potencies. There is no difference in renunciation they possess, and there is no difference in the glory, the fame they possess. So all the Bhagavan, all the opulences, Krishna, Balaram are completely non-different. But there is one fundamental difference in the mood. Right? The mood is different. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the mood of accepting service, Sevya Bhagavan, and Balaram is the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the mood of offering service, Sevya Bhagavan. And that's different. That's the only difference. And Balaram appears to teach the whole world how to serve the Lord. That's what he does in his incarnations. And therefore he's Adiguru, because what is the Guru's business? The Guru's business is to transform, to change the heart of his disciple. The disciple, they want to enjoy, and the Guru tells him you should serve. And the Guru engages the disciple in service of the Lord. And Balaram is very enthusiastic in serving. He serves as a Purusha avatar, the Lord in his form of Mahavishnu. Balaram manifests as Ananta Shesh, as a bed for the Lord to lay down. And as Lakshman, we just heard, he serves in Treta Yuga as Lakshman, he serves Lord Ram. When they were banished in the forest, it's described that actually Lakshman took care of everything. Sita and Ram, they were just enjoying. They had actually a very good time. Till the point that Surpanakha came and then Ravana. But before that, they had a very good time in the forest. And Ram, Lakshman would always serve. He would build a cottage. He would, bring the food. He would, in the night, he would not sleep. He would actually, stay awake and guard the ashram to make sure that nobody could disturb the divine couple. In this way, he was always serving. And of course, next, Yuga Dwarpa, in the Dwarpa, Yuga and Balaram, he would also manifest. And as we know, also the holy Dham is a manifestation of Balaram, the paraphernalia. So in this way, Balaram is extremely enthusiastic to serve. And in the Adi Lila, we find beautiful description in the 6th chapter, where the enthusiasm for service is described. Are you enthusiastic for service? Sometimes. Sometimes. But if we understand what it means to serve the Lord, I always tell the story. I was a young bhakta in the kitchen cleaning the floor, and I was a bit mental. Again, I have to clean this floor. And then someone was listening to a lecture, and then His Holiness Radhanath Swami was speaking in the lecture, and all of a sudden Maharaj says, "And for many lifetimes you're waiting to perform some service for Lord Krishna, cleaning the floor in Krishna's temple." I was like, okay, some Vani coming from the Akash Vani. Maybe I should change my consciousness. Actually, to render service is a very wonderful opportunity. The fact that we get a chance to serve the Lord, the Vaishnava, is such a great benefit, and we are very fortunate. We can feel very grateful to get a chance to serve. So this is expressed here. Krishna dasa abhimana ye ananda sindhu koti brahma shukanae tara eka bindu bhakta ama abhimana mula Shri Balarame se bhava anugata tanra amsa ghane. So the word Krishna das abhiman. What abhiman? The word abhiman means like the how to translate it? Like the pride. Yeah, pride. That's nice, because man, the pride, like the identification, like a certain identification, a certain bhav, a certain mood, right? The pride to be a Krishna das. Usually we don't say like pride is something we should give up, right? But there is something like a transcendental pride. Like I always tell the story of Prabhupada. Someone said, "Prabhupada, you're just like a king." And Prabhupada said, "I'm much more than that." Because, Maharaj, right? Like Raj and Maharaj. And of course, Prabhupada is not just an ordinary Maharaj. He's like the Jagat Guru. He's truly the Jagat Guru. Prabhupada would say that in the villages of Bengal, some people call themselves Jagat Guru. They never have left their village. But they promote it as Jagat Guru. What is this? Of course, Prabhupada had traveled around the world. So he is Jagat Guru, truly. So that's kind of a transcendental pride, in a sense of that abhiman. I am a servant of Krishna. That's my identification. And I'm not a servant of Maya. And I'm not a servant of my senses. I'm not a servant of anyone. But I am a servant of my Guru and Shri Krishna. That's the abhiman, the identification of a bhakta. And he feels very strong that this is who I am. The conception of servitude to Shri Krishna generates such an ocean of joy in the soul that even the joy of oneness with the Absolute, if multiplied 10 million times, could not compare to the drop of it. Okay, there is the happiness of oneness, like liberation, mukti, entering into the Brahmajyoti, becoming one. And that must be very blissful, because there is no pains, no suffering. It's complete beyond duality. It's finished with all miseries. So that is blissful. But here it says, even if you multiply that bliss 10 million times, it's still just like a drop of what you can get by serving Krishna. So that's the Seva Ananda, that that bliss, that happiness, that joy we can get by becoming a Krishna Das, by really deeply identifying as Krishna Das, giving up the false ego and just surrendering to Krishna. The source of the sentiment of servitude is indeed Lord Balaram. He's it says here, the Bhakta Abhiman Mula Shri Balarame. Mula means the root cause, the source. The root of Balaram, the root of this Bhakti Abhiman is Balaram. The plenary expansion who follow him are all influenced by that ecstasies. So all other incarnations or all other forms are influenced by that Mula, by that original Balaram. Baladev, Lakshman, Advaitacharya, Lord Nityananda, Lord Shesha, Lord Shankarshan taste the nectarian mellows of the transcendental bliss of Lord Krishna by recognizing themselves as being his devotees and servants. They are all mad with that happiness and they know nothing else. So, if personalities like Baladev, Lakshman, Advaitacharya, Nityananda, Lord Shesha, they are all mad in happiness of serving. So why should we not also become Krishna Bhakta, no? and get that happiness? What to speak of others, even Lord Krishna himself becomes thirsty to taste his own sweetness. He tries to taste his own sweetness, but he cannot do so without accepting the emotion of a devotee. Even Krishna, that's the amazing thing, that even Krishna himself wants to become a Bhakta. And that's the glory of the position of a Bhakta. That's why we are fortunate that we are aspiring devotees, we're trying to become devotees. At least I can speak for myself, we're trying to become a devotee, but that position to be a devotee, to be a Bhakta, sometimes we think, Bhakta is kind of a, Bhakta Joe, Bhakta Franzi. But actually, Bhakta means Bhakta. Even the Lord wants to be a Bhakta. But the Lord cannot taste that sweetness of Seva, of the bliss of Sevananda. That's why the Lord himself has to become a Bhakta, and we know, of course, he becomes Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then the Lord also experienced that bliss of being a devotee of the Lord. So that's when we speak of Tattva, first of all, Nityananda is that original Balaram, he's that first expansion, he's the Sevak Bhagavan, he renders service, and he's full of bliss by doing so. Then let us hear a bit about Lord Nityananda's pastimes. Lord Nityananda appeared about 12 years before Sri Chaitanya in the place of Ekachakra. So it was the 13th day of the bright fortnight of Magha. In the year, to our calculation, in 1473, Nityananda appeared. And his father was Horai Pandit and his mother was Padmavati. And we know the pastimes, I'm sure we have heard many times. What did Nityananda do in his childhood with his friends? Yeah, they played Krishna Lila. They played Krishna Lila and Ram Lila. They played all kind of Leelas as small boys. And they played very intensely. They were fully absorbed. And they had dialogues between each other in great detail. And the parents, they were like stuck with wonder. Nobody taught them. Nobody told them. How do they know? And how do they know so much detail? Jai Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Shri Shri Gonitai Ki Jai Nityananda Rama Ki Jai. So how do they know and how they played so perfectly, like completely perfect and fully absorbing the mood. So they were amazed. How is it possible? And of course it was not so difficult because Nityananda, he is Lakshman, he is Balaram, so naturally he could just reenact his pastimes. And most probably the boys who played with him were also not ordinary boys. If you get a chance to take birth in the same village as Balaram at the same time, these must have been also special jivas. So in this way they performed all kind of wonderful pastimes. And we know one day who came to the village. One sadhu came, yes. And of course, as it's his custom, when a sadhu comes to the house of a householder, they offered him all, respect, and they washed his feet and worshipped him and requested his blessings. And they said, "Please, whatever you want, we are willing to give you." And the sadhu said, "Everything?" And they said, "Yes, whatever you want, we will give to you." Then he said, "Actually, I need an assistant for my traveling. And your boy, he seems to be just perfect for that service. So please give me your boy." And then Hadai Pandit and Padmavati's heart was broken. They were like, shock. They almost died on the spot. But what to do? They were very pious, very honest, and they already, you can't make a sadhu angry, and once you have given your word, you can't say no. So with great pain in their heart, they agreed. And the young Nimai, I think he was 13 years old, 13 years, like a teenager. The sadhu took him, and then for many years, the small Nitai was traveling with that sadhu around India, many holy places. And as Nitai continued to travel, feeling the ecstasy of these sacred places, he more and more took on the character of an avadutta, a spiritually elevated person who is aloof to material surroundings and appears crazy to the uninformed. Like an avadutta is one who so much goes internally that he completely loses himself. Usually we say that one who tries to find pleasure outside, that's a materialistic person. And one who tries to find pleasure inside, that's a spiritual person. So where do you try to find pleasure? It's a good boss. A little bit here, a little bit there. It's a good measurement. But an avadut is someone who has gone so deeply inside, finding so much pleasure inside, that he completely loses himself and he doesn't have any conception for the outside anymore. Outside is it's not anymore relevant. Like we are still very much identifying with the external, and we have our social roles. We have a certain ashram, certain maybe varna, or certain occupation, and then we stick to that roles. But someone who has such deep spiritual emotions, he just kind of he's not anymore he's not able to control himself anymore. He's just going along with the bhava, the spiritual emotions. And then for an uninformed person, such person sometimes can look like a crazy fellow. And we will hear some story about this also today. So then it's described how in Pandharpur, Nitai meets the saintly Lakshmipati Tirtha, who is the guru of Madhavendra Puri, who then is it says he's the trunk of the Gaudiya tradition. From him, he was the first who manifested this bhav in our tradition of Radha Krishna, Madhurya. And so Lakshmipati, his guru, he initiated Nityananda Prabhu. And it's described, he gave him the student name Svarupa. And it's described that actually Lakshmipati, few days before Nityananda arrived in Pandharpur, Lakshmipati Tirtha, he had several dreams, very intense dreams, Lord Balaram manifesting in front of him. And then when he actually met Nityananda, he could understand that is the same person. And so then they continued travel, and Nityananda reached Vrindavan, the land of Krishna, and his ecstasy increased 1 million times. He was already in ecstasy, but when he came to Vrindavan, the ecstasies increased 1 million times. He visited many places, and he shouted and danced and rolled and laughed like a mad he howled, like ooh, like a wolf are doing howling. So he howled like a madman in the forests of Vrindavan. With overwhelming intensity, he cried out, "Where is Krishna? Where is the very life and soul of my life? Where is Krishna?" And then he had an inner vision of Lord Chaitanya, and he understood that the time has come for him to go to Navadvip. He understood that the Lord is now ready, because Nityananda appeared 13 years earlier. So Nimai had to go through his childhood pastime before he started his Sankirtan Lila. And once the Sankirtan Lila started, then it was time for Nityananda to join the Panchatattva. And then the Panchatattva became complete once Nityananda arrived, right? And the Chaitanya Bhagavat describes beautiful that meeting between Nityananda and Gauranga, that first meeting, in a very ecstatic way, how they come together. And we'll speak a little bit more this afternoon about this. But basically, Nityananda, who is identically in Lord Balaram, basically Nityananda wanted to glorify, Gauranga wanted to glorify Nityananda, but Nityananda then just turned it around and started to glorify Gauranga. Like there was an article for worship, and then actually Gauranga invited everyone. A great Mahabhagavat personality has come, and we should all go and worship him. Nityananda has come, But then Nityananda just turned it around, and he worshipped Gauranga. And he told everyone, he's the supreme personality of God, don't you know? So in this way, well, we'll speak more about this afternoon. So in this way, Nityananda joined the Panchatattva and spent time there in Navadvip. And there is one particular pastime we also want to mention. Let me see, it's a little small here. But Nityananda here on the altar revealed today to us that he received some extra sandesh today. Do you know? Like every day, Gaurnitai get some sandesh. But today Nityananda received 5 extra sandesh. I don't know, maybe more, but at least in the pastimes it's 5 sandesh. You like to know more about this? Okay. They're on the altar? Okay, they're still there on the altar. Not yet. Okay, let's see what's happening now. Sachi Sutta kindly sent me that pastime, so since we are spontaneous, we just include it here. So one day, Nityananda came to the house of Lord Chaitanya, overwhelmed and agitated with ecstasy. As we know, Nityananda is always full of ecstasy, and especially when now he was in Navadvip, and he, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, his beloved Lord, so he was fully in ecstasy. And he behaved like an avadut, as you will just hear. In a childish mood, Nityananda stood naked before them. Naked, okay? So, in a childish mood, but this time, Mahaprabhu was around 20 at that point, and Nityananda was around 33 or so. 33 is quite, like the age of Damodar Prasad. It's a man, So he came naked to the house of Sachimata. Like fully avadut, fully, as I said, fully lost external awareness of anything. What happened then? Fully absorbed in love of God, he did not feel shy before anyone. No, he didn't feel any shyness, although he was naked, because it was just completely in ecstasy. Shri Gauranga asked, "Nityananda, where are your clothes?" Nityananda replied, Yes. Gauranga said, "O Gosai, why are you doing this?" Nityananda replied, "I can't eat today." It's like, and Gauranga said, "I'm asking something. Why are you answering something else?" No, he's asking, "Why are you naked?" And he says, "I have not eaten yet." It's like completely madman. You know, like I'm asking why don't you have clothes, and you're talking about your food. You know, like this is what's going on. Nityananda replied, I went there 10 times. Sri Gauranga became angry. It's not my fault. Nityananda replied, your mother is not here. Sri Gauranga then said, please, get dressed. Nityananda replied, yes, now I will eat. Nityananda Prabhu was fully maddened in the love of Sri Chaitanya. He heard something and answered something else. He kept on laughing. Sri Gauranga then got up and personally put clothes on Lord Nityananda. Nityananda, the son of Padmavati, kept on laughing, completely lost in trance. Seeing the wonderful nature of Nityananda, Mother Sachi simply smiled. She considered Nityananda as her own son, Vishvarupa. She heard from everyone that Nityananda was none different from Vishvarupa. Vishvarupa, the first son who actually left, took sannyas, and she never saw him again. She alone often saw this with her own eyes. She, however, did not reveal these secrets to anyone. So she showed spontaneous affection for Nityananda. She treated both Nityananda and Vishvarupa equally. After coming to his senses, Nityananda dressed himself properly. Mother Sachi then gave him 5 pieces of sandesh. Nityananda, however, ate one of them and threw the other 4 pieces away. Imagine, you give someone some prasadam, he takes one, and the other he just throws them far away somewhere. Like, Sachi was shocked, like, what's going on? Mother Sachi then said, what will you eat now? Nityananda replied, if you want more, you'll surely receive more. On entering her kitchen, Mother Sachi found to her surprise that those same 4 pieces were there inside the kitchen. Mother then murmured, these sweets were thrown far away, so how is it there here inside the kitchen? In jubilant wonder, Sachi brought these sweets and offered them to Nityananda. To her astonishment, she saw that Nityananda was eating those very sweets. Mother Sachi said, my son, where did you get these sweets? Nityananda replied, at first I threw them away, but seeing your distress, I brought them back. Seeing this wonderful act, Mother Sachi thought, who is there who is unaware of the glories of Sri Nityananda? She then said to Nityananda, why are you deceiving me? I know you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so please remove the influence of your illusory energy from me. The qualities of Nityananda are unfathomable. They are a source of pleasure for devotees and a cause of distress for the miscreants. Even Mother Ganges runs away from that sinful person who dares to blaspheme Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda, who is Lord Ananta Shesh, who holds the universe on his hoods, is the king of the devotees. This is my heart's desires and prayers to the feet of the Vaishnavas. May Lord Nityananda, who is the Lord Balaram, become my life and soul. Accepting Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their lotus feet. Sri Nityananda Ram ki, Sandesh Pastime ki jai. So now these Sandesh are now there on the altar with Nityananda. So let's see who is fortunate to get the Maha at some point. Okay. Yeah, in this way the glories of Nityananda Ram are unlimited. Should we continue or should we? Something. We have the Jagai Madai Lila, or we have some songs. Yeah. Okay, let's. Throwing? throwing rice at each other. Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't have it prepared here, but we know that when Mahaprabhu took sannyas, Mahaprabhu was in complete ecstasy, and he wanted just to go to Vrindavan. That was his plan: go to Vrindavan. And but Nityananda, he didn't want him to go. Why did Nityananda didn't want him to go there? Different reason, because Nityananda knew, first of all, he knew that Vrindavan is not the right place for Gauranga, because Gauranga is always in the mood of separation, and in a mood of a devotee crying for Krishna. But if he's in Vrindavan, then that mood is kind of disturbed, because then he remembers his own identity as Krishna. So Vrindavan is not the proper mood for Mahaprabhu to be. He went later and he was in ecstasy, but it's not the place for him to reside. And another reason, he knew that Mother Sachi will, her heart will break if he will be so far away. So, and for this reason, Nityananda knew that Mahaprabhu shouldn't go to Vrindavan. So that's why he told some boys on the street, if this golden, this sannyasi is coming, this young sannyasi, if he asking the way for Vrindavan, you just say, this road, this road. And then in this way, Mahaprabhu kind of intoxicated. He just followed the advice of the boys, and then that led him to the banks of the Ganges. And when he arrived there, he, in his ecstasy, he thought that this is the Yamuna, that he has already reached Vrindavan. So he said, oh, the Yamuna. And then all of a sudden, Nityananda was there. Oh, Nityananda, you're also in Vrindavan. That's amazing. What are you doing here? And then Mahaprabhu wanted to take a bath, and then all of a sudden he see Advaita Acharya on a boat, coming close. And then Mahaprabhu is like, what are you doing, Advaita Acharya, here? So then he realized we are not in Vrindavan. This is still Navadvip. This is the Ganges. Of course, then they took him. Advaita brought some fresh clothes, and then after bathing, Mahaprabhu changed, and then they brought Mahaprabhu to Shantipur, and I think for about 10 or 11 days, then Mahaprabhu stayed at the house of Advaita Acharya, and then all the residents of Navadvip, they got a chance to see the Lord, because the Lord had, just kind of left, and only a few knew about, and then they just heard that Vishwambara had taken, or Nimai had taken sannyas, so now they got a chance to actually see him. And it's described, I think, in Chaitanya Bhagavat, that so many people, they came from all the places, they crossing the river, some in boats, some were swimming, some were, and then I think the Ganges was black, you could almost see the heads of the people. Everyone, thousands and hundreds of thousands of people came to the house of Advaita Acharya to see him. And Mother Sachi, she cooked for 10 days, she cooked every day. And she had that request, please don't go to Vrindavan, you should go to Jagannath Puri, because between Puri and Bengal there is always people coming and going, so at least I hear some news. Anyhow, when they returned, when they came from the Ganges, they returned, then there was a feast, and then Advaita and Nityananda, they were sitting there, and they were accepting prasadam, and then they were starting to argue. I could try to find it, but anyway, I have to see. But yeah, they basically they argued about. Mahaprabhu argued that this is too much. I cannot eat too much. In a sense. But then he said, well, you are actually the same Lord as Lord Jagannath. You can eat as much as you can. And then Nityananda was kind of arguing this is not good enough, and then they had an argument with Advaita Acharya, and then at some point they became transcendentally mad, and they're throwing rice at each other. But yeah, I don't have the details here. But yeah, there's many pastimes, and we can maybe just hear the description of this song here. Do we have a singer who sings this Nittai Pada Kamala? You like to sing? Yes, just. one next to.
Yeah. Nitai pada kamala koti chandra sushitala. Nitai pada kamala koti chandra sushitala. Ye chayai jagat juda. Ye chayai jagat juda. Heno nitai bine bai Radha Krishna paitena. Heno nitai bine bai Radha Krishna paitena. Trida kori daro nitai pai. Trida kori daro nitai pai. Se sambandha nahiya bruha janme gelota. Se sambandha nahiya bruta janme gelota. Sai pashu bodo duracha. Sai pashu bodo duracha. Nitai na bolilo muke majilo sansara suke. Nitai na bolilo muke majilo sansara suke. Vidya kule ki kori beta. Vidya kule ki kori beta. Ahankara mata hoya nitai pada pashariya. Ahankara mata hoya nitai pada pashariya. Asatyere satya kori mani. Asatyere satya kori mani. Nitai karuna habe braja radhe Krishna babe. Nitai karuna habe braja radhe Krishna pabe. Daronitai charana dukani. Daronitai charana dukani. Nitai charana satya tahara sevaka nitya. Nitai charana satya tahara sevaka nitya. Nitai pada sada koro asha. Nitai pada sada koro asha. Narotama bodo duki nitai more koro suki. Narotama bodo duki nitai more koro suki. Rakoranga charane rapasha. Rakoranga charane rapasha. Jaya Nityananda Rajaya 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 Nityananda Jaya Nitai Gauranga 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 Jaya Nitai Gauranga.
Thank you very much. Nidai Pata, yeah, now I will read the translation. Yeah, sure. Let's. Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Shushitala Di Jaya Chakata Juraya. The lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are a shelter where one will get the soothing moonlight, not only of one, but of millions of moons. If the world wants to have a real peace, it should take shelter of Lord Nityananda. Unless one takes shelter under the shade of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, it will be very difficult for him to approach Radha Krishna. If one actually wants to enter into the dancing party of Radha Krishna, he must firmly catch hold of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. So, Shushitala means Sushitala, very shooting. You know, the moonlight, maybe here in Switzerland we don't have so much experience, but if you live in India and it's 45 or even 50 degrees the whole day, and then in the evening you stand on a roof under the moonlight, full moon, then you understand what it means, shooting light. Because you know the body is so hot, you know, it was so hot the whole day, and then it's in the night becomes a little fresher, and then you feel that moonlight, and you feel like, nice. So that relief, and of course the analogy is that the material world is a place, samsara dhavana dalila loka, it's like a forest fire. There's so much misery, so many difficulties, so many anxieties, so many challenges. But if one takes shelter at the lotus feet of Nityananda, of the lotus feet of Sri Guru, then one finds shelter and one finds true peace. And that's the only place to find peace. There's no other place. And that's the first part, and the other part is Heno Nitai Bina Bhai Radha Krishna Paitinai. If one wants to approach Radha Krishna, one has to firmly catch hold of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. We know this is the process. We accept by the mercy of the Vaishnavas, we receive Guru, we receive Nityananda. By the mercy of Nityananda, we attain Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. By the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we attain the mercy of Radharani. By the mercy of Radharani, we attain the mercy of Krishna. That's kind of, we have to take shelter, and then we get recommended one by one. But it starts with Sri Guru. It starts with the Vaishnavas, with Sri Guru, and the Sri Guru is the manifestation of Nityananda. Nityananda manifests as Sri Guru. So we cannot directly approach. We have to go through the proper channel. And then in the second verse it says, Say sambandha naiyar britta janma gela ar. Say pashu bora durachar. Anyone who has not established his relationship with Nityananda Prabhu is understood to have spoiled his valuable human form of birth. Such a human being is actually an uncontrollable animal. Because he never utters the holy name of Nityananda. Nityananda! He has become merged into so-called material happiness if one is not chanting the name of Nityananda. We have chanted. So we are not. But if one has not entered the name of Nityananda, then what can his useless education and family tradition do to help him? So that the term of two-legged animals, Prabhupada would use that word, two-legged animals. This is, although one has a human form of life, but one actually behaves like an animal, in a sense that he's just for eating, sleeping, mating, defending, and not going for a higher goal of life, not taking shelter of Sri Guru, not taking shelter of Nityananda Prabhu, then such a person actually has spoiled his valuable human form of life, and he say pashu bora durachar. Durachar means not nicely behaving, pashu means animal, so like an uncontrollable animal. Because that's the difference between human and the animals. If you put some food in front of an animal, the animal would just go for it, instinctive, just go for the sense gratification. But a human can control himself if he is educated and trained. So that's the difference. A human being can try to become a Goswami, which Srila Rupa Goswami describes. That's the beginning, that one has to learn to control the 6 urges, and in this way, perfect one's life. Ahankara mate hoya nitai pada pasariya asatera satyam koramani. Being maddened, and here is described why someone not taking shelter of Nityananda, why someone has not taken shelter. Being maddened after false prestige and identification with the body, one is thinking, what is this Nityananda? No. What can he do for me? I don't care. No. Who is this Nityananda? No. Why? Ahankara mata hoya. Mata means mad. Maddened by the ahankara, one thinks, who is that Nityananda? I don't care. The result is that he is accepting something false to be truth. If you actually want to approach the association of Radha Krishna, you must first achieve the mercy of Lord Nityananda. When he is merciful toward you, then you will be able to approach Radha Krishna. Therefore, you should firmly grasp the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Second time, it says one should grasp firmly the feet of Nityananda. And then the last, and then we complete. Nitayir charana satya tara sevak nitai. No? Satya means eternal, Nitai means also eternal. The lotus feet of Nityananda are not illusion, they are factual, they are Satya. The shelter of Nityananda is truth, it's a fact. One who engages in the transcendental loving service of Nityananda is also transcendental. So Nityananda is eternal, and one who takes shelter of Nityananda also becomes eternal. Because the service to Nityananda is eternal, and if he absorbs in that service, he himself, we are all anyway eternal, but we again, gain our eternal identity as a spiritual soul, the servant of Krishna. That's why I always try to catch the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Third time, we have to catch the lotus feet. This Narottam Das is very unhappy, therefore I am praying to Lord Nityananda to make me happy. My dear Lord, please keep me close to your lotus feet. Narottam Boroduki, Nitai Moro Korosuki, Rako Ranga Charanere Pasha. So in this way, Narottam Das Thakur teaching us how we should take shelter of Lord Nityananda. Nityananda Rama ki jai, Nityananda Trayodasi Mahamahotsava ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare Bol, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare Bol. We'll continue in the afternoon. Thank you very much. If you change your mind, you can still